all of my friends are baby fathers. I can't believe I'm saying this, but honestly, I think deep down in the inside, bro, like, I had this group of friends, right, that I met in high school, and you're going to lose. If you are in high school right now, I feel like you're going to lose the friendships that you have. I had a lot of friends in high school. They ended up dipping off. But the baby propaganda is insane. Like, you're willingly able to sit up here and have a bunch of kids off rip. And it's crazy how I had to literally become discerning. Now, one of my friends did have a kid with the love of his life, and shout out to bro. That was very, 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 very good of him to do. I think I'm super extremely proud of him, because I would have thought he would have been the last person that would have been falling in love with somebody and having a kid. But the other two, it's extremely terrible for me to explain this out loud and come to a compromise of what it is, but the way it seems like is that we're having these kids and we're pushing the agenda of like black deadbeat propaganda. Abandoning kids at an early age is crazy. I already knew if I didn't have a kid, I'll talk about my pregnancy scares in this video. I'll be an honest person. I've only had 2 pregnancy scares in my life, and one of them was because the girl wanted to keep me in her life. She pretty much faked it, and her friend went along with it in order to keep me in her life. And babies should not be put in people's lives to make things worse and chaotic. If you know that you and that girl have been going through toxic adversaries, don't think that a man is going to come in your life and take care of that kid when you have a whole bunch of responsibilities on your plate. One, no man right now wants to be a stepdad. It's a trend to have kids, and it's not a good one. Posting yourself on Father's Day as a mother is crazy. At a certain type of point, yes, but that's what Mother's Day is for. You know what I'm saying? That's what Mother's Day is for. It's not for the people that think they're a father, because fathers are important, but you're a mother, and mothers are important as well. Y'all both have your own idol, or y'all both are pedestalized in a certain type of right. If you think that deep down in the inside, we're going to go through this rigorous amount of opportunity and, how the way life is and how it's set up is that people have a direct correlation for how they feel in society. They have this robust reason, and they have these continuous amount of lackluster takes where it's like, man, I'm beautiful. I have the right to do what I want. I have to live the life that I live, and it is what it is. But when you're having kids, I had a friend that had a kid with a minor in high school. She was 17. And he would text me from time to time. He'd be like, bro, what you want and stuff. I cannot look at you the same after that. Even though, the information that I've had in my mind, I don't want to be like, man, why would you do some crazy thing like that? Like, what's wrong with you? That gets with me when it comes to lust. A lot of them were extremely lustful in high school. So it didn't shock me that they had a kid, but you're doing it in a certain type of way where now it's weird, and it's an everlasting point where it's like, I've accepted you for being a Jezebel. I've accepted you for having this robust reason for having EX, but now you're literally depriving yourself of your energy, and you have a million soul ties, and that type of energy is perceived in me as well. And then I have another friend that is a baby daddy of 3 kids, and each one of his baby mamas have been, I ain't gonna lie, like, he should not have been doing that, but he lied to my face after I told him, like, listen, I want to ask you, did you have a kid? Because he put my other best friend in high ends meet when 4 people ended up being the girls or potential baby father. And he lied to my face and told me that he was not the baby daddy, and that pretty much the kid isn't his. It's like, how do you look at people the same like that? How do you call people up and do that? My best friend was still friends with him after he lied, but certain type of disrespect and certain type of things, if I've been knowing you for the longest time and you have the ability to lie to my face, you're no longer my person. Or no longer my person too when it comes to a relationship, and you're no longer my friend. I don't care how long I've known you. If I've known you for a while, why are you lying to my face? But that's the thing, that when it comes to these kids, man, it comes to taking accountability. If you gotten somebody pregnant, own up to it, bro. Take care of the kid, bro. I'm not sitting up here and saying like, okay, cool. Some baby mothers are definitely crazy, but you got to realize like, man, I'm not going to mess with you because you're a deadbeat. You chose to have a toxic relationship and still get that woman pregnant. I see women that's still posting their baby fathers as if their relationship isn't broken. It's like, what are we doing as a society? We're just popping out kids. That way they can be in a toxic home and grow up understanding that either dad did something wrong or mom did something wrong, and we're subjective to understanding that both parents are wrong in a sense because they put you on this earth, and now it's a chaotic household. In the end, we're all doing this certain type of way, and we're literally going in the flow. You feel me? We shouldn't be just walking around popping out babies, bro. Like, no, we shouldn't be popping babies out like we're popping balloons, bro. Like, it's easy to just pop them out, and it isn't any type of responsibility. It isn't type of insecurities that come with it. It isn't type of like a whole bunch of backlash. You're still gonna have to deal with your woman's postpartum, and her not having the father in the room when having the kid is definitely like going to make that postpartum harder. You got to think about it, bro. Once these women get pregnant, you're responsible for her emotions, her overwhelming, you know what I'm saying, digression when it comes to, I'm having this baby, my body is morphing in a certain type of way, in a certain type of direction. I'm a feminist when it comes to pregnancy. I believe women have the choice to get rid of the baby or they don't. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Do I want my woman, even if I got a woman pregnant, would I want her to abort the baby? I wouldn't, but that's her choice. Because I know as a father, I want to take care of the baby. But that's how a lot of women get over on people. And that's why I said a lot of crazy girls, the women that I mess with, that used babies as a reason to be like, I'm pregnant, you have to stay in my life. And if you don't, you're wrong. And in the end, that is what it is. Like, you can call me wrong. You can demonize me for the fact that I feel like, that having and putting a baby on a man is definitely crazy when it comes to it actually not being in fruition. You feel me? If you know for a fact that you're about to be pregnant, come at the man in a certain type of way where he can understand it. Because if you're yelling at him and being like, I understand some men are childish and they're not going to have like a requiem for how you feel. But having a baby right now, especially in 2026, is probably the worst time to have a baby at a young age. It's harder to get a job. It's harder to pay taxes. It's harder to pay wages, mortgages, rent. Why would you ever want to have a baby in a society that is falling to the dust? And for men, having at least a third of a baby mama is crazy. 3 baby mamas, you're not NBA Youngboy. You're not Duke Dennis. You're not going to have all of this money to take care of 3 kids. And to be in all 3 of their lives is insane. You don't have that much time on your hands being 22, 21, 19, even having kids in your teens. That's crazy. Shout out to the ones that are going through and are single mothers and are single parents. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in a 2-parent household. So I understand, but I did see sometimes my parents did argue. Growing up as an only child, it was tough. I didn't have siblings. But I do understand that my parents did lie in order to try and make my life suitable. Now that I grow up and understand and find out a lot of things that were messed up in the marriage, of course. But in adolescence, it was easier for me to deal with it within a year rather than dealing with it my whole life, growing up into being 18. So what I'm saying is that being a baby father is insane. You don't need to have a kid that early, bro. Use protection at all times. Hey, and don't trust birth control either, because it's a smidge percentile that you might have a child. You know what I'm saying? Raw sex is definitely dangerous, but that's the reason why they made protection. They made these They made a mechanism for you not to have a baby. And in the sense where you're doing it just because you want to keep a woman's at arm's length or you want to keep a man tied down is crazy. It's ludicrous. And you need to find out exactly what you want to do with your life in order to not have these things happen to you. Love yourself as much as you're putting in idealizing a woman being pregnant. 9 months is your responsibility to take care of her emotional needs. You can't emotionally neglect somebody that's pregnant. That is terrible for the child, bro. And it is crazy. Don't be trying to look at minors in a certain type of way either, just because you want to, that's an easier lick. And I'll probably get into that as well, because there's a lot of people coming out with those allegations, and I'll say that in a separate video. Man, people need to understand that bringing kids in society because you want to keep a person or because you are doing this, that, the third, you have to stop, bro. We have to stop it. We have to, bro. We have to. And you're only going to understand and figure that out the more you go through life. And when you really want to have a kid and you're financially stable, or if you really love that person and you're not financially stable, always understand that that child is vulnerable, bro. Their old understanding of how they grow up and what they see will be a direct correlation to how they grow up in adulthood. And their relationships will be toxic because your relationship was toxic. You know what I'm saying? And I just saw a dude talking about how his mom was ran through the industry and he had to see that. Bro, these kids, they grow up to hate you and are spiteful. And you talk about why your kid in a relationship with your child isn't close, is because you brought them through a rigorous amount of trauma. Like, that's not okay. But that is the end of the video, y'all. 3 uploads in a hot car. Hot sauna coming to Chicago, or heat wave coming to Chicago next week. I'm pumping these videos out, so if y'all can please watch these, understand what I'm talking about, my takes and my advice, you know what I'm saying, my story times. I would love for the support. I'm trying to make it out. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Enjoy y'all day. Bye-bye.